All right, welcome back to the Shrink Rep Show. I'm John. I'm here with Pam and Tahliah, and last time we talked about the things that shape our story and then what that looks like in real life, our behaviors, our thoughts, the stories we tell ourselves, what we believe about ourselves, what's personality and what's just something that needs to get inspected. And today we're going to talk about that inspection and how we can move forward. So, what do you got for us?
Ooh, I love the word inspection, don't you?
Yeah.
We've got to take a good, hard look at what's going on. How are we behaving? Who am I?
Identify it.
Do I agree with it? Am I experiencing depression or anxiety? Oftentimes, I will be experiencing that before I begin to kind of back up and say, I got to take an inspection here.
Yeah. You got to be aware, emotional intelligence. Find that awareness of self and how you're showing up in the environment with other people. And I think that's where we start. Like we look at the patterns of our behaviors, and now we are able to inspect. Okay. Whenever I have a certain pattern, how can I look at myself and what I'm doing, and how can I correct that if I need to correct it?
I think it's often not until I've suffered enough.
Yes.
That there's a problem that I bump up against, that there's something difficult, something painful that causes me to look at me.
Right.
I don't think it's typically for most people inorganic. So let me just inspect myself.
Right.
What's going on with me?
You don't look at yourself if you're not, self-conscious, are you?
Yeah, I remember in my own life, I'm 35 years old. Someone tells me, yeah, you're not a part of this. We don't really.
They said it just like that.
This isn't really working. And I
want to go, let's go get them.
Yeah, let's go. I did.
I will find you.
I remember that causing me so much pain. That the pain became unbearable, that I couldn't function. And I began to question everything. And, my brain's now doing all the work to go out and identify, okay, so every encounter, every person you've ever known, you've never been wanted anywhere. And I really had to dial it back. But it took me to therapy. It is the first thing that took me to therapy. And that began to kind of open up this inspection work of, so tell me more about that, the therapist said. Who said this? How important were they to you? What did you think about you before? How true do you feel that is? I mean, I feel that's really true. But let's really look at it. Could it be 100% true or just partially true?
Right.
But that was my first, I need to figure out how I come across to people and why did that hurt me to the core? Yeah. It's one person saying one isolated something. I was a successful marketing person. My kids loved me. I had friends. But the importance that I gave to that was not in proportion to the person, the comment.
Yeah.
And so that was an indicator that something's up here that you need to address.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of the work of, all right, let's look at what are the beliefs you have about yourself and where did they come from?
Yeah.
And let's unpack that using some of those cognitive behavioral strategies that we use with our clients, right? So examining the evidence. Stages or ranges of shades of gray. And how true, how all the time, I think you're kind of catastrophizing, making it a fortune-telling thing. This is never going to work out. This never did. It won't. And then just beginning to do a reconstruction of self.
Yeah. Or of your relationship. I love what you're saying. It's not just about the inner self. It's how you are in your relationship management piece of that too. And I keep going back to the emotional intelligence because I find that that's a helpful tool for people to figure out whether or not, is this more related to me? Is it something that I need to look into on my own for self-awareness? Or is it more, how do I relate in my relationships with people?
That's good.
And you can find like free resources at like truity.com. There's a couple other resources out there, but that helps the person kind of identify where they are and where they need to make adjustments. And in therapy, we get to do that. I walk a lot of people through, maybe they do have really good self-awareness, but they don't know how to manage their relationship. And that's
or there's no boundary. Or there's no boundary in the relationship. There's no filter. Not, and I'm talking about the reverse filter, not that I just say anything and I don't care how it impacts you. It just comes out of me. I'm talking about the filter that is, you say something to me like you don't fit, you don't belong, we don't like you.
Right.
And I take all of that in as 100% truth without being able to say, wait a minute. This is the insulated part of me. You don't get into this.
Yeah.
Let me think about, examine what you said, and see if there's anything here I need to know, considering where you're coming from, what's going on with you, what's gone on with us, looking at patterns. But it's an inspection. I love that word.
I've been in situations like that, and I think what's crazy is how it can feel so big, so hurtful, so draining. It's catastrophic, right?
Catastrophic.
And then you ask yourself the question, like, do I even care? Like, are these the right people? This person...
Consider the source.
Yeah.
Right. And not to put other people down, like, well, these people are idiots, so I don't care. But really asking, like, do I really want this?
Yeah.
What do I want? And when you start to, it's like, man, my girlfriend is just so this and that and the other. And it's like, and if you were to actually boil it down and be like, well, do you want to be with her? And it's like, no. But you're still engaged in this drama that's really riling you up. Not that everything's like that, but I think it's just so interesting that you can be in a situation that is painful and you may not even want to be there.
I mean, I work with clients all the time that they are in a relationship where they have given away so much power for this other person who's really being abusive and or cheating and or creating their own set of rules that they're not going to abide by anything that you need. And the hurt is so deep, and they have come to so believe that this person's view of them is completely accurate to the exclusion of the goodness that's in them. And often it is about another past situation. I couldn't get mom's love. I couldn't get dad's love. Then I couldn't get stepmom's love. Then the prior person cheated on me, and now here I am, and I cannot lose again. Versus, I'm not a loser, and I deserve more than this. And if I say, you cheated on me, and I don't now trust you, and I need some time to learn to trust you, and that might mean I need to ask you about who you're with and look at your phone for X period of time, not forever, then love says, I'll allow you to do that until I can rebuild that trust with you. And so I've got to hang on to this, though, because fail. And I cannot have that. Yeah. And so part of what's really important to do is identify, what's keeping me here is I don't see my value. And I have given this an extra dose of importance because of these other ruptures, these other losses, these other failures. And this takes work to build up that ego strength to the point where I matter and know I'm worth being treated well. Yeah. And so are you.
I'm not a therapist, but I resonate with what you're saying so much. I continually, even now, find myself in this situation where I will constantly be, I don't know what the right word is, maybe tempted, where I want to be pulled into something that I know is just not, like a project or something that's like, it's it's only going to be disrespectful to me. They're going to be, it's just not a good fit. And it's going to leave me feeling unseen, unvalued, hurt, frustrated, questioning all of my stuff. And so...
That has a name, John. It's called the compulsion to complete. I have an internal, sort of intrapsychic need to have a successful experience here if I didn't here. And so it's driven from this really deep internal need to make a repair with this one that I couldn't. And so, yeah, it will compel me into this. I can see or sense on one hand, this is probably not going to be a good idea for me. And yet, this compulsion, but I got to do it. I got to do it, even though.
Yeah.
Something I'm not a therapist, but I've almost found personally that without a replacement, I'm not trying to exchange one thing for another and then complete the thing to heal myself or whatever. But it's more of a creative endeavor is what I'm describing. And what I found is like, I can't control these people, but I do need this outlet. So the realization of like, I need my own irons in the fire. Something that is for me.
So important. So important.
And something that can also maybe give me what I need of a reassurance of like, I am good at this.
Yeah.
I am.
And I don't need to play in your playground. I can build my own sandbox over here.
So this is your show, and obviously I'm not a part of it. However, if in a vacuum, and that's the only show, it seems like I will always feel that compulsion.
Default
to complete, and I'll feel rejected. And so for me, what I've been practicing is like, I've got this other stuff over here and it's going really great.
Yes.
And that I can remind myself of that when I feel that compulsion,
Yeah.
Kurt Thompson says we seem to want to spend 95% of our energy in these areas where we can't control and where we don't have any say, instead of the 5% that we can, because we feel also like in that 5%, we may not be able to manage that. So we go, and that's what social media is. Let me go over into the 95%. I'd rather look at that than this because I don't know if this will work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's taking control and authority over the things I can take charge of and be successful in. And especially if I'm following my interests, my aptitudes, my skills, my abilities, that's a beautiful solution.
Yeah. I think when you're looking at it from inspecting what I'm initially going through or what I've been going through, and then you're noticing and becoming more aware of how you're interacting, afterwards you can name it. And that's whenever you're able to start integrating and making meaning of your purpose in that, in whatever situation you're in. Yeah. And that's basically like how we remedy a lot of our maladaptive behaviors too. We've got to inspect how are we showing up in there, become aware, notice it, and name it, and then do that repair, make meaning of it, integrate it. And that's basically what you're saying here. Is what
you'd mentioned when you're drowning in it, co-regulation.
Yeah,
I think is what
co-regulation.
So you call someone, you talk to someone and say, I feel this way, they're horrible, I'm horrible, and they can be like, about half of what you're saying might be true.
What else could be true?
But here's the others.
Yep. Yeah. So that's that naming piece of what's actually happening, and making meaning of that would be like, okay, that person is helping you regulate, and now you can say, actually, I have this over here, and it's going great, and integrate your piece back into, I can do this well.
The really important part about you checking in with your friend when you going off the rails is, I hear you, right? We want to be heard first. Yep. And let me just sit in my raw emotion of this, like I'm pissed off right now, or I this makes me so sad, or I feel embarrassed, or right, that is just going to show up big. So I got to get that out and with somebody who can contain that for me. So I'm going to surround myself with safe people who are non-judgmental and who know me enough that they know how to talk me specifically off the ledge. So, and then after that part, they can go into the solution. I'm not going to hear the information until I feel the connection.
Yeah.
No, maybe we haven't said this, but the assumption here in the dynamics we're talking about feels like something that is a little inescapable, like a power dynamic, like something at work or family or a spouse, where it's like, and there's a little bit of like wherever you go, there you are.
Yes, for
so
sure.
leaving isn't always the solution, but when is leaving a healthy tool to heal yourself?
Ooh.
I have left a lot of previous jobs because
there are some relationships and
Yeah.
situations that are optional, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not your marriage, it's not your family, it's not your job. And your job is a little optional, right?
Right,
But
right.
it could just be a friendship or something like that.
Yeah, where I
Yeah.
can create some healthier boundaries where I see them sporadically. It's a shorter period of time, or I disconnect altogether.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it's those relationships that what I do with my kids and my spouse,
Yeah.
I'm in.
How do you balance that? Like, yes, wherever I go, there I am. So I don't want to, but when can you let yourself off the hook where it's just like, I can't take this growth on right now. I can't. I can't always be inspecting. I can't
Right.
always be growing. I need a little bit of reprieve.
That's a really important question because it's a process. It's going to be over time and it's going to come through different sources, right?
Yeah.
I might be reading something and that really clicks. A friend might say something and that really clicks. I might hear a sermon and that clicks. And I'm piecing all of this together, but we've got to take breaks, right? When the heart takes breaks. Every breath, a break. Every beat, a break. And we've got to do the same thing. So that's a pacing. I think that, and for clients, I'll help them pace because sometimes they come in and go, so how many times am I needing to come? And I did all my homework,
Yeah.
And I'm like, slow down, sit with the process. Life's going to bring you lots of opportunities to practice these new skills. And this is not, you didn't get where you got overnight, so you're not going to get out of it overnight either.
Yeah.
And so, taking breaks when you need to, and taking permanent breaks when you
Yes.
need to. Sometimes you get to a point where I can't do this. Like I'm not healthy and I won't be able to be healthy within this marriage. And I'm a real fan of marriage, so I'm not a fan of divorce. However, I do recognize that sometimes it gets to a point where I can't function within this in mind, body, or spirit.
Yeah. Or in a work setting.
Or in a work setting.
I have a personal story. I was working at a facility that I had people that I was managing, and a certain individual didn't agree with the way I managed, and I was coming home stressed all the time. And I was like, why am I doing this to my family? Why am I doing this to myself?
Stress is going to be our biggest indicator.
This is like, there is no amount of money that should prevent me of my mental health. I am not going to go clinically insane by staying in a place that is not a healthy place. And so I ultimately stepped down from the position and was like, I am not going to enter into that anymore because that's not a healthy space for me to stay. It's not healthy for the people I'm working with. It's not healthy for my family, and it's not healthy for me. And even though I missed the money because it was good, but ultimately what was not helpful for me, the best thing for me to do was to remove myself completely.
Sometimes we'll stay a lot longer than our cortisol level really can manage. And we will put up with, again, it could be that compulsion to complete.
Yeah.
So I'm not giving up here. You can't get rid of me. I'm going to be the last man standing. And yet now relationally at home, things are not falling apart. You're fatigued. You can't make dinner. You can't think. You don't have time for workout. You're eating crap. You're gaining weight. You're losing weight. But the symptoms, sometimes a lot of symptoms have to show up before we call it.
Yeah.
And we're,
It makes me think, there may be some relationships that are irreparable. irreconcilable. But there's a lot of ones that if you put enough work into, you can turn it around. But you got to like figure out, is the juice worth the squeeze,
Is the
Yes,
juice-
yeah.
And are both squeezing.
Yeah. And so marriage, it's like, obviously that's like, if you have a priority list, marriage is going to be top. And it's like, it's probably, and your children or someone in your life, it's like, this is worth it to me. I will overhaul my life to figure this out.
Yes.
But a work thing or maybe a friend, it's like,
I can get.
we
a friend
could
tomorrow.
repair this, but it's at a point where it's going to take so much effort that it'll also take so much away from me at the same time. And I just got to call it.
Right.
Oftentimes people are stuck. I've had clients just stuck in, I only got 3 years left to retirement. I got to stay here. And their health is so compromised. And yet they, I'm going to lose my pension. They miss other opportunities because they're holding out for that. And again, there are very real reasons why people stay where they stay, but or for the money. I can't make this much doing something else, and so I'm staying, and yet they're absolutely miserable. It usually takes, now I'm waking up nauseous every morning, and now I don't want to go, and now I can't wake up in the morning, and now I'm just
It
not
becomes a
available.
burnout. Compassion.
And when I
fatigue,
say
burnout.
repair or reconcile, I don't mean that it's just, sometimes you just got to get out of somewhere because it's toxic. But I don't mean just leave everything, on negative terms. You can be at peace with people and have you not have chemistry. Like, this isn't a good fit anymore. We can't work.
100%.
But peace to you, peace to me. We'll go our
Namaste.
separate- yeah. Peace be upon you. Okay, so that was all kind of maladaptive territory, right? Okay, what about the stuff that's like, I know better, so why don't I do better? Like,
Right.
not just like, I'm so tempted to be pulled into that or whatever, but I'm a jerk,
You're a jerk.
Why do I keep behaving like a jerk?
Oh, I find men especially to use sarcasm as a great maladaptive piece. Maybe not just men, but I do think it's I don't want to touch on the pain of a past experience.
Or not just like, I think what we were talking about earlier is like maladaptive, meaning, explain maladaptive one more time.
Well, hold on.
It's an unhealthy way of managing a situation
Yeah, emotional state. Yeah.
or my emotional state. Yeah. So it's an unhealthy fix.
Yeah.
Okay. In my mind, I keep kind of separating out maladaptive with like reactive, where something just seems more primal. Like you're not even thinking like, I need this or I want this or I wish this were different or something. But it's just more quick paced, like rage. Like someone says something to me and I'm just like,
Yeah.
You
That's
go back
old
to that.
stuff.
Yeah.
And being a jerk is a classic way of keeping people out. Let me just keep you away from me. You can't hurt me if I'm a jerk.
Yeah.
What are some? So you start becoming aware. Man, I'm a jerk. I keep reacting this way to people. Even when I am aware of it.
seems to
I brought it down from a 10 to an 8.
Yeah.
So what are some paths forward to that? Is it co-regulation? Is it reframing? Like what?
I think it's all of the above. I use internal family systems as a way of working through some of those kinds of things by helping clients identify, gosh, I've exiled off these parts, and I'm using a manager part, control, jerkism,
You jerk.
to protect those parts that I don't want anyone to be able to see or touch or hurt me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just exile off vulnerability, shame, weakness, pain,
Yeah.
fright. I'm going to cover that up over here. And so bringing their awareness to, yeah, all right, these manager parts were helpful. You needed them then. They're not serving you well now. You now have no friends, jerk.
Jerk
The Jerk is a
John.
great movie.
I'm not talking about me right now.
Oh, we thought you were, John.
I will
But whatever it
retract
is.
what I said.
Right, I'm controlling. I'm the comedic one.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that it's not serving me well anymore, and I'm going to I'm going to reintegrate those exiled parts back in, and I don't need to use this other coping mechanism anymore. It's not serving me. It's not serving my relationships, and I start practicing it. And I'll tell my clients, I want you to just start practicing new behavior and see what happens, see how it feels, see how it sits in you, and see what kinds of reactions you get to people you trust. And that's an excellent reinforcement as this, oh, I got a really positive reaction to that. That seemed to work. I feel more integrated internally when I'm not as sarcastic or I'm not as controlling or I'm not as whatever, comedic. Yeah.
What would you say? I think we all probably want things to happen quicker than they should, or quicker than they will.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want to call this recovery, a path of recovery from maladaptive behavior or jerkism.
A path of recovery from my false self to my more authentic version of myself.
What would you say to encourage someone? Obviously, you can't do this alone. You know, there's the saying that if I don't know what the exact saying is, but if hurt happens in a relationship, it won't heal in isolation. So,
You're right. Right.
and maybe some mentorship or a counselor or a therapist. But what would you say just to those immediate thoughts that someone might have of, oh, I tried this thing and it had a positive effect, but it's also so foreign that their immediate reaction is just kind of hopeless. Like, it's going to take too long. That's not me. Like, that's too big a mountain to climb, you know.
Yeah,
Can you
and
speak
that
to
happens, and I've seen that. And what's ended up happening sometimes is, the mountain's too big. They walk away from the mountain. Eventually, they're back
Yeah.
because something else will surface in life that causes suffering and causes them to want to take a look at it again. And oftentimes, again, it's an extreme or a painful something. And because, again, the suffering's got to get bad enough before you go, okay, I got to do something about this. And so this may be a thing where I'm in and then I'm not, and then I'm back in and then I'm not. But all the while I'm moving along toward the rediscovery of myself and the more healed version and authentic version of me. So it is definitely a trials and errors.
Yeah.
It's definitely a progression. I remind clients all the time, you are so much farther along than you were. Look at what you're doing right versus what you're doing wrong. Remember when you're not doing that as much anymore.
Yes.
Because it is definitely easy to forget and to just feel so defeated. I still do that thing. I still have that thought. I still remember that whatever. I still overreact. Yeah. But the last time you overreacted that I heard about it was this long ago, and you used to overreact on a regular basis. So, when someone sees their progress, it's so encouraging, and it helps them find self-compassion, gratitude, and it's just such a journey.
Yeah.
It's such a journey toward healing.
You always miss 100% of the shots you never take.
What do you mean by that?
For sure.
If you don't try, you're never going to make the shot. And I hear a lot of people tell me, I tried that. Okay, did you try it only once?
Right.
If you only tried it once, you probably felt like imposter syndrome or am I doing this right? If you're actually doing it, if you're working it, we got to change the language from trying to doing to working.
It's the action. Yeah.
You got to put the action in. And when you're ready, when a person is ready, and this goes to like motivational interviewing, what part of the stages of change you're in? Are you ready? Are you in the pre-contemplative where you see the blind spots, but you're not like, I don't care. I don't care to fix it. Am I more contemplative? I really see the blind spots, and perhaps maybe I need to move towards a plan. Then you get into preparation, and you're starting to make a plan of how you want to start seeing these goals being reached.
I got to work on this.
I got to work
Maybe
on these
I need to
kind of
find
things.
a counselor.
And then you go into action. You actually do the thing.
Amen.
You're going to do what that plan is. After that action, you get into maintenance. And for maintenance, it's just
The rest
checking
of
in.
our life.
You're just checking in. Am I doing the plan? Am I going towards that goal? What's the next goal? I completed that goal. I can go to the next goal. That's ultimately how I see people can change those maladaptive behaviors. They can change those coping skills. They can change relationships. They can look at those blind spots and fix those blind spots. You got to figure out where you are and what are you willing to do.
And
to
until
get
you're
to
in the
where
action
you're there.
stage, it's words.
Yeah.
It's really
It's just
just words. Yeah. But it's a process. It's a process. And back to neuroplasticity.
Yep.
It's going to really help start creating new neural pathways that that can become more and more familiar for my brain to grab hold of those versus the older ones.
Yep. So you're just being consistent.
Yeah.
So back to the way we
Over and
started
over.
this conversation 2 episodes ago. I talked about my 10th birthday. The way I realized that was a driving factor in my life, when I was probably 27-ish, somewhere around there, I had some friends throw a surprise birthday party for me. Or maybe it wasn't a surprise. It was planned. And the more I knew about it, the more I didn't like it.
Anxious.
And I had such a negative reaction to it. I was anxious. I was just, I didn't want it. It felt like, and it clicked. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't think I've had any birthday parties for myself, really. Like maybe some friends go out to dinner or something, or, someone, gives you a present, but like no real birthday parties. And I was like, the last time I had a birthday party was that.
Yeah.
And it didn't go well. And so I recognized that was driving a lot in my life. Like, not just that one experience, but
this concept.
Yeah, the concept of, but we went ahead and we had the birthday party and it went well. And I got to experience people showing up for me.
Being there for you.
And celebrating me. And it wasn't as big a deal as, even people just treating it casual. It's like, all right, gotta go. Kind of just like, it wasn't built up and it wasn't this, it was just a normal thing. And then, over time in life, as you do, you get married or have different relationships or whatever. And I've opened up slowly and been like, there are people, I've experienced people be there for me when I needed them.
Yes.
To me, it just feels like the most important thing is, these problems that we deal with happen in relationship. You know, someone hurt me, someone wasn't there for me, and I can't just go heal that on an island. Like,
you can't in isolation.
Okay, so we'll stop there, because the next thing we want to talk about is if some relationships heal us, like we talked about, counseling, therapy, friends, reconciled relationships, what have you, if that's how things can heal, why do some relationships seem to only hurt?
Yeah.
So for now, we're gonna press pause on core schema and the stories we tell ourselves and healing patterns. We're going to talk about toxic and abusive relationships in the episodes to come. And we're going to dive into that.
There we go.
All the crazy, all the interesting, all the dramatic, and not to make light of it, some harmful things. We want to explore that. And
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah.
Yep.
We'll be ready.
Stay tuned for some
We always
toxic
get
relationship
new
conversations.
material.
We'll give you examples, real life,
Yeah.
Yes.
we'll do it in real time. All right. Thanks for joining us today. As always, please like, comment, share, anything you can. That stuff really helps us as we're trying to build a channel. It helps the algorithm magically bring other people around. So if you liked what you listened to today, just please do one simple thing: comment, share, like, anything like that. And let us know what you think and what you want to hear from us. Until next time, have a good one, and we'll see you again on the Shrink Wrap Show.
Yes.